Well, hello, welcome to the 2023 Studebaker Car Show in downtown Custer, South Dakota. We're so glad you're all here with us today. As you can see, there's a wide variety of beautiful, beautiful Studebakers and Packards. We have cars, we have trucks, we have everything from a 1939 to 1965 here today. The neat thing is we've got people from various states around the country, including Canada. We have 3 cars here from Saskatchewan, which is pretty cool. They went a long ways to come down here and join us today. So enjoy the rest of the show. You're going to get to see a lot of really cool cars. And if you can, come in person next year. We'll be here same time, same place, Sunday before Labor Day, right by the Chamber of Commerce office, 10 to 3.
Dave Smith. We're from Albuquerque, New Mexico. This is my wife Jeannie. We've owned the Avadi for about 20 years and we drive it everywhere. It was 28 from the end of production. It was an export car. It was sent to Brussels, Belgium, and somebody in the Air Force, we assume, brought it back to the States. And it's called an R1. It has a naturally aspirated engine, no supercharger. So it's the basic model. Right now, I'm not sure how many miles it has on because when it was exported, the speedometer was made in kilometers and we don't have a clue. It had, for export, it had black wall tires, truck heads, a can of paint in the trunk, and that was it, and the speedometer in kilometers. And that's how they shipped it. Since we've had it, it's been to 10 national meets. We've driven it all over the United States. We're on our way right now. From here, we'll go to Montana and then back to Wisconsin for the Nationals and then back to Albuquerque. So it's a driven car. You can tell by the nose, there's not a bug that we don't like.
My name is Bruce Burst, pronounced like a balloon popping, but it's spelled with an E. I'm from Casper, Wyoming, and I drove my 1941 Studebaker Champion over here from Casper, Wyoming. The car is a total custom job. It's got a 455 cubic inch V8 in it. It's got power steering. It's got disc brakes in all 4 corners, air ride suspension, cruise control, air conditioning, electric windows, electric doors, electric seats, all the amenities of a modern car with an old body.
I'm Steve Brown, Fort Pierce, South Dakota, and a Studebaker owner because I have the addiction just like all these other people. And I just want to warn anybody watching this video that you're going to see in the other videos here, you're going to see cars that you like and you may become addicted and have to own a Studebaker yourself. Okay, ending with that now, this is a 57 Studebaker Golden Hawk. This car was made basically because the Thunderbirds and Corvettes were coming out by Chevrolet, and Studebaker did not have the money to get into performance cars. In '56, they had a Golden Hawk, which had a large Packard engine, a 352, which was a very fast car, could compete with those other cars. But after '55, Packard never made engines anymore. So Studebaker was kind of a dilemma. How do we get that same horsepower out of our little 289, which many people think is a Ford engine? It's not. Anyway, they put this supercharger on it. And they got the same horsepower of 275 horsepower. And my understanding is this is one of the fastest cars, production cars made in 1957. They said the top end was 127 miles an hour. Now, I have not checked that out myself, as I am a chicken. But they are fun to drive. They're unique, and Studebakers are just like I said, it's addiction. I don't know how many I have. I own 3 now, but I've had several others along the way. just a nice car. This car happens to have a blue, and I find a lot of people like the color. It's a 64 Studebaker color called Strato Blue. And most of these cars were painted kind of a gold color. I think there's another one here that's the gold color. And theirs are nice too, but I kind of like the blue myself. This one is power steering. It has a power brakes in it. Electric windshield wiper, and the seat belts were added. Of course, they didn't have those in the day. Nice car to drive, as most Studebakers are. They were a good, dependable car.
Tony Urich. I am from Garner, Iowa. It's about 578-mile drive from here. And I did trailer my car. It'll be too far to drive, so it's been great. So I have here behind me a 1939 Champion, which was Studebaker president wanted to have a brand new car that was economical and all new parts. So he actually has a group of engineers come up and they started building this car from scratch. He didn't want to use any other parts from previous Studebakers, but he kind of wanted to keep the same design. So this is the design they came up with, and it came with a 2-door, a business coupe, or the 4-door. I prefer the 4-door because I love the suicide door. So it was kind of a unique design. And I also like the 3-piece grille that they had at the front. It was one of my favorite looking Studebakers. I own and have drivable 6 cars at the moment, so I'm all the way from 1939 to 1966. Which would have been the last year that Studebaker actually made cars.
Sterling Horneye from Regina, Saskatchewan. That's approximately 500 miles straight north of Custer here. I've got a here 1957 Golden Hawks Studebaker, which I picked up in 1986 in Vancouver, British Columbia. Had it shipped to Regina ever since then. And taken to different shows, the U.S. here, all over to different places. I come back from a Studebaker family. My uncle was a Studebaker dealer at home, so the Studebakers got around to his brothers and cousins and my relatives too. So everybody ended up with a Studebaker one time or another, and here I am doing the same thing. So going to the shows, enjoy it very much. I enjoy this show come down here. I was here last year. I've been coming down here since about '89 and '90. Missed a few years, but like being back in the country again.
Hi, my name is Brad Canfield. This is my wife and I's truck. She still always says it's just mine, but it's a 1949 Studebaker 2R16A, which makes it a 1.5 ton truck, an old farm truck. This thing was bought originally in Washington State, and then it ended up coming to Sheridan, Wyoming, and then that's where I found it about 8 years ago. And so I've just slowly been working on getting everything running. The engine was in really good shape. I only had to add oil to it and kind of clean it up a little bit, and I was able to get it running. So then I had to go through the brakes and the wheels and tires. I drove it for a couple years on the original tires and finally decided it was time to maybe get a new set of tires there. I did have to redo the seat though. The seat was one that pretty well had to be done right away. I didn't want to get poked with a spring or rip my pants or something. No, it's a fun rig. I finally got a speedometer cable, so now I know how slow I go. So about 45 miles an hour, that's about top speed on it. It just purrs. I kept it all 6 volt. So it's easy on the points and everything. So it keeps it easy to start, and then it just does easy on everything. It's so much easier on the system. So, and it keeps it original. It's nice to keep it as original as I can. I just kind of slowly working on it as I go. This truck originally, it would have came just the cab and chassis itself, and then the farmers would put on whatever type of bed they had or what they needed. So I've got a scissor hoist on this one.
I'm Lyndon Welly from Fort Morgan, Colorado. Just a nice little hop and a skip up here to the Black Hills. Been coming up here for I don't know how many years, but I would say at least 20 for this show. We always get a nice turnout of people, and we're glad to see that. I came this year with a 48 Packard. It's the Super 8 convertible. Packard, this is a new design for Packard in 1948, and they were wanting it out to the consumer public because money was readily available to the public. A lot of cars were sold in 48, 49. So Packard decided as a move on their part, they would send the convertibles first to the dealers with a new design. And so that's what they did. There are 2 series of convertibles in the Packards. This is the small one. Looks real small, right? And then the custom, but they sent the convertibles first and then the closed cars so the audience could see this is what Packard's coming out with. They'd already won several awards for design, and surprisingly, because some people don't care for this slick down design, they like the more staunchy, real showy grills and stuff of Packard. But this is all Packard quality all the way through, and it's been a good little car. It's a good tour car.
My name is Stuart. I'm from Kimball, Nebraska. What I have here is a 1963 Studebaker Avadi. The car has had kind of a hard life. I went with a friend of mine back in the 70s to Denver, Colorado to pick it up. He bought it from a man that got kicked out of his house by his wife, and he lived in the car, caught it on fire. They ended up restoring the car, and then in 1992, the thing was sitting in their garage at their home, and a tornado hit the house, leveled the house, moved the car out of the garage. Every piece of glass and thing had to be replaced. Everything cosmetically had to be done to the car, and I ended up doing that. And then I bought it from his widow probably about 15 years ago, so I've had it since then, but I've known the car a lot of its life.
Hi, I'm Rob Botts from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I've owned this car for 3 years, been working on 3 years. It is frame-off restoration, highly modified. I've lowered the car, put different suspension underneath the car, a newer motor. I've done 98% of the work, and we thoroughly enjoy having it. It's kind of a fun car. Some of the modifications that you'll see is the motor, but the outside of the car is pretty much original. We just took some trim off of it, painted it a blue color, and it's worked. It's kind of what I like.
My name is Melvin Bacon. This is my dog Kaiser, and this is my 1964 Gran Turismo Hawk. They made about 1,500 of them. This one is kind of unique because it has the vinyl top on it. And it's the only car Studebaker ever put a vinyl top on, and there were only 300 of them with a vinyl top because it cost $65 extra. So it's got the 289. It also has what's called an Avadi package on the engine, so it has chrome valve covers and that kind of stuff on it. So this is a really sweet little car. We drove it up from Brighton, Colorado.
Must have been two manufacturers that use the same one.
I will.
I miss you.
Good stopping by. You guys take care. I just renewed my membership, so good. You need to come out.
Yeah, I like that one. Okay, almost was. No, like graduation. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Based on